Welcome back. I like the fact that they're all in the dark.
I was going to say, do we can move along to the right a little bit? No,
I look better in the dark.
Do you? Okay.
Hello.
Okay, sliding across a bit.
If you're out there watching, God knows why you are. I wouldn't. What a load of rubbish this is. But I am Stanford Chidge, and these poor, distressed souls are Sophie, who is actually gorgeous, and these three who are very dark. And they are the dark Charlie Skillen.
I actually quite like the background, can I just say?
That's because that's where I sit, actually. That's the view from where I sit. Hang on, my finger. It's like Monty Python, isn't it?
See, he looks better.
There you go, you've got a bit of live Monty Python. That's where I sit. That's the view from where I sit. We've got Charlie Skillen.
Hello.
He's lovely and he writes the Mail Online. He's beautiful. I love him. We've got Beth Wild. She is the queen of CIA. She's Carrie Matthews, but Chelsea. There you go. There we go. And we've got the lovely Jonathan Kidd. Oh, hello. What are you doing to your rude bits? Leave him alone. We've got Jonathan Kidd. Jonathan Kidd.
I was on Toy Story this week.
Famous voiceover artist. Talk Sport. Toy Story?
I was on Toy Story.
Were you playing Buzz Lightyear?
No, I was playing...
There's a gag about that somewhere, isn't there?
I was playing a dinosaur called Ray Gone.
Well, I did see the picture, actually.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go. Where's Ray gone?
Very clever. Very clever.
I know. I should write these scripts.
You should write comedy.
Still leaving it to you. Anyway, and apart from all that, I am Stanford Chidge. This is the Chelsea Football FanCast, and we've already wasted nearly 2 minutes talking about absolutely nothing, which is how we like to roll. Ooh. But annoyingly, we're going to have to talk about some football. And even more annoyingly, we're going to have to talk about some football where Chelsea actually lost a game. And I did tweet this out after the game that it was quite disheartening losing because I'd forgotten what it was like. It was so long ago. I couldn't remember, and it was really horrible, but never mind.
I have been miserable since. I've been grumpy.
I still am, Jonathan.
I can tell. And it's all because of that.
It's all because of that.
And a dinosaur.
And a dinosaur.
It's a good job that Tell's not on the show. Remember the days when we used to have Tell on the show? Tell would just be... I mean, do you know what? We would lose a match, and then I'd phone Tell up on the Monday. I said, come on, Tell, we've got the podcast. And, no, I'm not coming. I'm not coming. I said, no, come on, Tell. He said, no, I'm not coming. And he'd be like really depressed from the football. And I used to have to say, OK, I'll buy you 2 pints of Guinness. He said, no, I'm not coming. OK, I'll buy you 4 pints of Guinness. He said, well, maybe. OK, I'll buy you 5 pints of Guinness. And on the 5th one, he would always say yes and turn off. So there we go.
What was he like on the show? Was he
absolutely
just
brilliant?
He was very, 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 very drunk. And all the better for it, actually. Anyway, OK, so the unbeaten run has ended, which we should... In fact, I'm wearing black tonight. As you can see, I'm mourning. And Charlie's wearing black too. Charlie is also
I'm
mourning.
half mourning.
You know, there we go. You're half mourning.
Yeah.
That's kind of 11's, isn't it?
I'm wearing a great CFC shirt.
I'm glad you laugh at my jokes, you know. Anyway, back to me. I'm much more interesting and important. That's right. OK. OK. Is this a blessing in disguise? Jonathan.
It's taken the parrot off our shoulder.
Not the monkey off our back?
No, I thought I'd give you something, another animal image.
It's taken the top off our back.
Oh, clever. That's a reference to a show called Pipkins that I was in.
I just wish I could remember the Mr. Pipkins theme song.
No, Pipkins, not
Pipkins.
Pitkin.
No, Pitkin was a very... in fact, Mr. Pitkins was a wine bar in Winchester where I met my wife.
I think probably also...
I was very, 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 very drunk at the time.
Is it Mutiny on the
Sadly,
Bounty?
she wasn't. So she's got no excuse, whereas I do.
Yes, what were we saying? Yes, I think...
Top off?
Yeah,
top on.
Top off, yeah, I think... no, I'd have liked to have remained unbeaten for the rest of the season. But there was a kind of inevitability about it all the way. My worry is that it's a repetition of last season. We've lost exactly the same... it wasn't the same score, so it was 2-0, but Cisse scored again, didn't he, last year? And it was the same pattern, which we seem to be beaten on. We were attacking, and I almost feel we've got to get out of this.
Well, I mean, you're basically saying titles and points are more important, really, although it was a bit of a shame. I mean, it would have been really nice to have wound the Gooners up by having a record.
Completely would have been fantastic.
Without sounding like them. Yeah? What do you think, so?
Well, I was pretty depressed about it, to be honest. Well, no, because I watched...
I've got something for that. Hang on. No, go on.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what were you
doing? My hands are here. My hands
Excuse me, Chidge. What were you getting out then? What were you getting out?
I keep my hands here where you can see them, all right?
People who are only listening on Mixler have just got off easy there. Anyway.
I would have thought so.
No, I did watch some of the highlights.
Did you? You weren't there. You weren't doing the tune.
No, I was actually at work.
You weren't lying under some coats in the second half.
No. However, there were some really, really, really bad mistakes that, to be honest, a team that's going to win the Premier League shouldn't be doing.
Oh, don't be so miserable.
Anyway, though, but on the plus side, I had seen a little picture or image on Twitter, and it said if you win if you draw 10 games, you get 10 points. If you win 5 games and you lose 5 games, you get 15 points.
right.
And that was Jose Mourinho's
It
quote.
was. He's right.
So
Points win prizes.
exactly. So to be honest, yeah, record, but it's more important to win the title.
But my worry is that we're being found out a little bit because it's the same
Can
pattern
I
as
pick up on
Sunderland.
that point later?
Yes.
Yeah. Charlie, you write for the newspapers. Will it shut the media? I mean, this is the thing that I think all really annoyed us most. That every blooming question that Mourinho gets answered is about being invincible and unbeaten. Will it shut them up? And is that a good thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the only
I didn't
silver
say
lining.
you, I said them.
Yeah.
You're one of us, son.
Okay,
You're one of
right.
ours. Yeah? Yeah.
In the cloud that was a Newcastle loss, that's a little silver lining.
Yeah.
I think.
Isn't it?
I wrote something when it looked, when people were talking about it. I don't think not a single Chelsea fan I've met was bothered about it. Was bothered about being unbeaten. As we've said, no, I'd rather be lifting a trophy. I mean, you can easily go unbeaten and not win the league.
Yeah.
You could.
I think that's a really good point. I think a collective Chelsea bothered. No, we're not.
And that Arsenal
isn't it?
team drew 12 Premier League games, which is huge.
Yeah.
Since then, there's only one title-winning team that had less points than that team.
Again, funnily enough, Charlie, you're reading my mind. I made that very point in my International Business Times UK Sport article.
Was it
today.
a very big article, Chidge?
It was over 1,000 words.
Wow.
Yeah,
Would
I'm
cut
amazed
that
that I
down.
can count that much, let alone write that
Right.
many. I did write the quite a lot.
Did you write your
I'm
name a
doing
lot
an
as well?
8,000 word essay.
I must write better. I
Chidge,
must write
chidge,
better.
chidge, chidge.
Chidge. Yeah, don't give me delusions of grandeur. It'll get a bit kind of weird if I, Anyway, here's the record for the record. See what I've done there. It is 23 games unbeaten in all competitions and 14 games since the start of the season. I read somewhere that we have matched the record that we set in 2007 and 2009.
Yeah,
That's true, isn't it?
Yeah, we can't seem to go past that.
No, we're stuck on 23.
Yeah.
But never mind.
That's pretty all right.
I'll live. Now, Jonathan was making, a minute ago, he was making a very, very good point. And I very rudely cut him off because I should have embraced the fact that he had for once made a very, very good point. But I will pay him back with interest here.
What, the point about the fact that we've been
Yes, I'm
found out?
being nice.
Thank you.
Here's the thing, old fruit. If we score early, it's a different game. And I think the real problem with the game was that we just didn't take our chances, both in the beginning of the game and, of course, later on. But I think the thing that you were alluding to was, we might have been found out. And I think this is the whole point about, I think, Newcastle basically took the template that Sunderland laid
Completely.
down. But they had they were more able to counter-attack and they had somebody who could score a goal, which Sunderland didn't. So,
And we didn't have Matic playing.
well, what is it? I mean, you think we've been found out. What's been found out?
That you can defend very robustly against us and man mark and throw yourself in front of the ball, and we won't be able to penetrate that screen. And they will then break at great speed because they can do that. And I think Newcastle have got some very nippy players.
Yeah.
They're nippy.
Very, very nippy up there because
They're
it's
nippy for
so
the chippy.
cold. It's so cold.
Why I'm on?
Right. And consequently,
Had a win.
we
Can't say that
we
bit.
get a bit worn down by it, and you wonder whether, in fact, that policy at the end of just booting the ball up into the penalty area,
Hey, body lad.
should have happened half an hour beforehand. Because that seemed to be something that was working. Perhaps that's something that does work, is you bring Drogba and you don't care about the fact you're only playing 3 or 4 at the back, and you actually attack more, but play the ball up to the tall man.
Bonnie
Carroll
lad,
scored 2
Bonnie
great
lad.
goals yesterday exactly that way.
Bonnie lad, it were like trying to play against Adrian's wall for like a year.
Except it's Adrian's wall.
Was he from Wales
breaks, that breaks up the other end and scores.
Aye.
Sticks a brick in.
And away and... Beth, we haven't heard from you, Lodge, because I've been very rude and not talked to you, which is very, very rude of me. Would you agree with all of that?
Why we're not pirates anymore, because we've had to take the parrot off.
That's true, we have.
What?
Love pirates.
Pirates or parrots?
Pirates.
Because of the parrot. I mentioned parrots. So
Grr.
parrots on the back.
Have you not
It's
watched
not a pirate.
Dodgeball? Have you not watched Dodgeball?
Grr is not a
Tell you-
pirate,
all right,
it's a
sorry, hang on a minute.
tiger.
Soph and I need to have a moment.
Breaking news. Watford at home.
Watford at home. Thank you, Sil. Thank you. Watford
Another
at home.
home
Yes. I was hoping that we would get Blythe Spartans, actually.
So was
Away.
Yeah.
A lot of people
I
were.
I like a home game.
You like a home
Who
game?
have Blythe
Especially a London
Spartans drawn?
derby.
Now listen, you and I are going to have a moment. We are going to have a moment.
Right.
was interested.
Shh. we are having a moment, and the moment is this: when you go home tonight, go on Netflix or whatever you've got, and go and get Dodgeball out.
I haven't watched. Do you know that's one
Dodgeball.
film that I remember going out? Everyone was raving about it, but I never saw.
And then you'll get that grr reference. Okay.
Okay.
Just think of me as Vince Vaughn.
I'll come
I
in.
often do.
It's easily done,
It is easily done.
So looking at you immediately.
I'm much funnier,
Yeah,
obviously.
you are much funnier.
Yeah, not quite as pretty.
No, not quite.
Probably as fat.
No.
Anyway,
Beth.
Charlie, please tell me.
Beth.
Yeah, well, if you don't talk sense within 10 seconds, I move on. Charlie,
didn't say anything.
shut up. Charlie,
Yes.
you're a man who's intelligent. You're a man who's
Sort of.
not only are you known for being intelligent, you're paid for being intelligent. Can you explain to me what was wrong with Costa?
I think Newcastle, as Jonathan said, Newcastle triple marked him. They got under his skin. He was aggressive.
He looked a bit limp to me.
He got piled on the whole time, and he wasn't quite there. And it was so noticeable when Drogba came on, and he offered us that we'd been looking all game for Costa to do.
He looked like he had run out of beans to me.
That'd be about right. Yeah. Yeah.
They
Coffee beans.
They needed no encouragement, Jonathan. But I mean, it was a bit worrying because that was not the Costa we've grown to know and love this season, was it?
No, it wasn't. But I think the sporting game can be a real kind of detox for the whole team. It's a complete dead rubber. Yeah. They can give everyone a nice rest. Costa hasn't been exactly the same since he came back from what was quite a bad injury.
Yeah, I think they're a lot worse than we were led to believe.
Yeah,
actually.
exactly. And Mourinho had this whole kind of argument with the Spain national team. He's only actually scored once since then, and I think a bit of a rest is needed. He's been so fantastic, so explosive since he came.
But I don't think we'd
it
have
was
had a
never going to
problem
last
at
the
all
whole
if
time.
Willian had scored that goal, which
No.
curled past the post.
Yeah.
I think
It was a
they'd have
good
had
shot.
to come out, and we'd have then been in more position
And
to
I
it.
think
As
we
I was
need
saying.
to go a bit faster. It's a bunch of foreplay in front of the box, and we need to just get in there and shoot. Sorry.
It'd be interesting. It was a very good point, actually. It's very interesting how.
So hang on a minute though. The trouble is those foreigners that we've got. They like a bit of foreplay, Beth.
I
If they had an
know.
English front line and an English midfield, would be straight in there, back of the net. Thank you very much.
The gag got in the way of the football then, wasn't it interesting?
It always
No,
does.
but it's true.
She loved that.
True.
She loved it.
It's
I'll make my point now. It is interesting, though, that we don't appear to have anybody who can actually shoot from just outside the penalty area.
No.
No, but when Drogba came on, he's the one person who can header in a goal and
Yeah, it was a header.
Minute.
No, but I mean, the opportunity, at least we've been given opportunities at the outside on the D, at the penalty area, and the ball's either chipped in or played wide. Or any shot that takes
Exactly.
place,
Mm.
it's not that
Foreplay.
it's blocked. The number of times the ball is a weak shot from somebody, you think, come on, are they not practicing
Oscar's
shooting?
not bad.
It could be what we're missing from
Bang
Lampard,
it in.
really.
Willian isn't great, and poor old Mikel had his usual customary
Do you know
shot
what? I
that
want
hit
to
the
talk
corner
about
flag.
Mikel because actually, and it will segue very nice into. I know you're quite keen on talking about the Matic, and as
Well,
I
no,
am.
I'm a fan of
But
Mikel,
hang on.
but not in
no,
this
no.
instance.
You see, because I actually, here's the thing, guys. I thought that Mikel did all right. I thought he
Yeah.
had a decent game,
He did.
but he is no Matic, is he?
He's not a game changer.
No, but then
He
again,
can hold a game, as in when we're trying to keep the lead, he can hold it, but he's not exactly going to score the winning goal, is it?
And I thought he played
well, how many matches has Matic
differently.
scored? He doesn't score.
Well, no,
many
it's not
goals.
that. No, but I think
creates.
with Matic, even against Tottenham, when we were after, I did a couple of interviews after the game, and everyone said that he was our man of the match. And I think not only is he a really good player, he's also very intimidating. Which is
Player.
what, yeah, player. So that's why when you miss a player like that, I think we're bound to have trouble.
Yeah. And Fabregas wasn't nearly the same
He's not
without
a player,
Matic.
though. He thinks he is, but he's not. I think Jonathan's right. I think and Matic is a huge miss. But as I said, what was really fascinating was to see Mikel playing actually what I thought was quite a decent game. I thought he played all right.
Yeah.
But it just makes you realise that he is no Matic. But then who is? Matic is probably the best defensive midfielder in the world right now. I would say I would go that far. Would you agree with that, Charlie?
Yeah, and certainly in the Premier League, I think only Yaya Toure, when he's on form, which he hasn't been
Yeah,
this
he's a
year.
hell of a player
But
when he's
yeah,
on form.
but,
I'll give you that.
but they're very
Different
they're very-
dimension to
very
Matic,
different
the way he
players.
runs
Yes.
forward
Yeah.
and scores. But
Yeah, I mean,
You know.
they are quite similar though in
They
the
are.
way that they can play
Yeah.
through the whole kind of middle of the
When
pitch.
Matic got yellow carded at Spurs, I was just going, oh shit, sorry.
Oh, poo.
Beth, for goodness sake.
No,
Excuse
because
me, hang
I
on.
thought.
No, shush. I have to, on air, apologise for the language of the North Americans that we have on the show tonight. You know, they're not as civil and polite as we are in England. Thank you.
I apologise.
The
it was
language
biggest
of
thing.
North Americans does not necessarily reflect the view of the Chelsea FanCast. There you go. I did that quite well.
It was my biggest concern when I saw that he got his 5th yellow
sorry.
card. That of all of the players we were going to miss at Newcastle, that, you know, we talked about missing Diego Costa for Tottenham. I don't think missing Costa, it was as big a loss as missing Matic away.
I agree.
And nobody wanted to talk about it, but I
last
think
week?
it was, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're busy, man. You know.
I
stuff
know,
going
but
on.
I just had this dread fall over me about it.
Dreaded
Correctly
undread.
so.
I think
There's this wonderful ability of getting back and nipping the ball away, facing our goal.
Yeah,
from
and
the
then
player.
moving it quickly.
Yeah.
It's forward, not sideways, which
That's
is often the
the
critical.
word that's important.
It's obviously the
Quickly.
criticism of
Bless you,
Perron
Daniel.
Mikel. Talking of which, you know, I have to say, we ought to really mention this, but I mean, Cahill and
Had a terrible
and
game.
Branner as
Gosh.
well. I mean, a lot of people seem to have missed this point, but actually, if Branner, right, I'm going to say this because I love Branner, and I hope he's not watching because he will punch my lights out. But if you're going to play as a right back, your job fundamentally, Gaffer, turn the mute on. Gaffer is trying to play the show. This is a bit like life imitating art, imitating life. Gaffer imitating Chidge, imitating Gaffer, I don't know. But anyway, the fundamental job of a right back is to prevent a cross coming in. He is the man whose job it is to stop that ball getting over. Not standing there 5 yards away with your hands behind your back.
Where the hell was Caesar?
What's that about? Who? He
Dave.
was on the other side.
The other side. It was the right. It was
So
the
you're
right.
having a
is he-
moment.
No, I know. I'm just saying, is he the one I
You didn't
seen? 'Cause
take
thought
that
it was
thing I gave
Luis.
you earlier, did you?
No, I'm just thinking, who was it?
Sophie,
Because he
I-
defended poor as well. Then.
I agree with you. I
Yeah.
think Dave had I think Dave had a not so great
Who?
game.
Yeah, both of them. They were
As
all-
Cesar
Azpilicueta.
Azpilicueta, thank you.
Azpilicueta. Anyways, I actually think he didn't play well either.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
mark.
But we
I
were
see you gave
talking.
him a higher mark.
We were talking about Branner, who I think was equally culpable in many respects. Certainly for the first goal, Cahill should have cleared it. He had a shocking game.
Well, no,
But,
They
yeah,
all
the
had a
reason why I
shocking
think
game.
Cahill had a shocking. No, they didn't all have a shocking game.
did.
The reason why I think Cahill had a shocking game is he was also at fault for the second where he just let Cisse go. No, not Cisse. Was it Shula Amiobi?
No, it's
Sorry.
Sammy Amiobi.
Sammy Amiobi.
Yeah. I also think Courtois could have done a hell of a lot better for the first goal. He came, he rushed out. I thought it was quite poor. I mean, Cahill did have a very poor game, and he could have done a lot better. But I mean, he picked up a knock in the week, and I think a slight. You know, I'm not particularly sort of thinking about it, but a slight worry in the squad, particularly as, you know, obviously we're going to be hoping to be in a lot of competitions come sort of March, April time. I mean, Zuma's still very green. He's a good player, and he can get a header in and whatever. But when it really comes down to it, I don't really think Mourinho would trust
Do you
him
not?
for
I
90
think-
minutes in a
no,
whole
I think
Premier
he's
League game.
good.
I do think he's good, but I think Cahill and Terry have been such a good partnership, and
Well, he defends better than they do, and then he
Mourinho
sat
took a
there.
risk on Cahill, I think, and it didn't pay off.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I mean, I think the final thing, very quickly, because we've got about 40 seconds to go, but, you know, where do they go from here? I think the reaction to this first defeat is going to be very interesting and important to see. So I think, well, we've got Sporting, which I don't actually think will count. I think Hull.
Hull.
So how do you think we'll respond, Jonathan?
I think we'll win easily.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
Hull is anywhere near as good. Unless, of course, Steve Bruce does exactly
Yeah.
the same thing as both
I think he
Sunderland
will.
and Newcastle have done.
I don't think they've got the talent.
I don't think they've got the talent in
It's
the
also
same
the
way.
bridge, which
They haven't
makes
got
a
the
massive
slightly
difference.
mad players like Catamol and who was the ginger-haired boy who played for Newcastle. What was his name? Colback, who played out of his
They
skin.
did play well. I
Out of
think
his
credit to
skin.
them. They had a game plan and it worked. And no, fair play. You know, that's football, lad.
That's
Funny
football.
lad. That's
right,
football.
yeah.
And they all got a fish supper when they went home.
That's right.
We should
And
also
a
say,
glass of Newcastle brown ale.
A different
Anyway,
nah.
we got to go. Blimey, I did saw what the time was. We got to go. We'll be back in a minute. We'll see you then. I can't wait. Bye-bye.